like me, you have a smartphone that receives notifications. Oftentimes, these notifications are dire. The market has declined overnight, oil prices are now in a free fall, and the number of COVID-19 cases is on the rise. This may cause one to panic. Today, I hope to give you a sense of why markets are so volatile during this unprecedented health crisis. I'm going to start by thinking of investors or market professionals as captains of ships. In normal times, we can think of these investors and market professionals as captains on a sophisticated vessel with all of the latest equipment that is able to see not only what may be visible to the naked eye, but also what lies within the murky depths. The weather is clear and the seas are calm. While different captains may take different routes to their destination, there is little variation. Now think of the markets during this pandemic. Using my analogy, market professionals are captains of a schooner from 200 years ago. Moreover, the ship is sailing in a terrible storm with high winds and heavy fog. To make matters worse, the ship is in uncharted territory populated by unknown sea monsters. There's no sophisticated equipment on board, and each captain must fend for himself. Moving from captains of ships to financial economics, what is the difference between the two? In normal times, investors look to the future and assess economic outcomes based on some probability of the outcome happening. In this example, one might think, given the current economic forecasts, that there is a 30% probability of the market going up tomorrow, a 60% probability of it going down, and a 10% probability of it remaining the same. Another way at looking at forecasting the market is a probability distribution of many outcomes, not just three. This graph is similar to those in most introductory finance textbooks. While simplistic in its view of the world, it shows that risk and return are linked through the probability that certain events will occur as well as their magnitude. The wider the distribution of potential outcomes, in this case gains and losses, the larger should be the return. The main assumption underlying these examples is that we can both know the potential outcomes that we are trying to forecast and can make an educated guess on the likelihood that the outcome will occur. But what if we cannot? In times of crisis, it's possible that both the potential outcomes and the probabilities are unknown. As Donald Rumsfeld once put it, there are known unknowns, as in the previous example, and unknown unknowns. In economics, we call unknown unknowns ambiguity or Knightian uncertainty, named after Frank Knight's seminal book that was published in 1921. Under Knightian uncertainty, it is difficult for investors to reach a consensus on what may happen in the future, and so markets become volatile. Each new piece of news either resolves or exacerbates this uncertainty. One indication of the degree to which markets might suffer from Knightian uncertainty is the CBOE VIX Index. The VIX Index is an expectation of future market volatility and is sometimes called the fear index. As can be seen in the graph, expectations of future market volatility increase dramatically around times of crisis and is highly elevated now. Given all this information, how likely is it that I or anyone else can accurately predict what may come? Unfortunately, my crystal ball is broken and I have no particular insight into what may happen to markets in the future. Even under normal circumstances, academic research has shown that the majority of market professionals do not outperform the market. Thus, it may be some comfort to know that predicting the future right now is incredibly difficult. So what should you do? The first place to start is to become informed and to assess your tolerance for risk versus ambiguity before making an investment decision. You can also learn from the number of studies that try to understand patterns in human behavior, particularly investing behavior. We know that when ambiguity is high, investors become uncomfortable and tend to flee to assets that have known unknowns, such as treasuries. This raises the price of these securities and depresses the yield. People like certainty, but it often comes at a cost. We also know that individuals are notoriously bad investors during a crisis because they feel losses more acutely than they feel gains. This means they tend to trade too late. They sell low and buy high. Nighty and uncertainty can cause panic in the market because no one knows what the future holds. But hopefully, some of this information in this talk can help you make better investing decisions and to understand why markets may be so chaotic right now. For example, if you feel that you're unable to tolerate ambiguity, you might decide to rebalance your portfolio with securities whose outcomes are better known. Once you do so, then hang on for the ride. But be cautious. Remember, rebalancing your portfolio in response to this uncertainty may give you a sense of agency, but could lead you down the wrong path if you are not careful. Next, if possible, keep investing. Doing so diversifies your cost basis, that in turn helps diversify gains and losses. Once you have made any of these decisions, it's imperative that you stop looking at your portfolio on a frequent basis. This will only cause you to worry and potentially take action when you should not. There's one prediction I can make with some confidence. Be assured that once the new normal unfolds, nighty and uncertainty will recede and markets will again become good barometers of economic conditions. If the markets rebound after the pandemic in the same way as in the last crisis, there could be profit opportunities by continuing to invest. In conclusion, I hope this short talk helps your understanding of why the markets may be so chaotic during these difficult times. It is my and my colleague at Lehigh University's sincere hope that you and your family can weather this storm and we will shortly enjoy clear and calm waters. Thank you.